Hey fellow backyard boyers, Nick here. Guys, this is one of my favorite styles of crossbow and I've made several of this style. So first thing is the trigger mechanism or the lock. This, you can see when the string comes back it pushes the pin down, and then when you're ready to shoot the crossbow you push up on the handle and it pushes the pin and it pushes the string. I have a PVC bolt retainer. This is just a little clip that holds the bolt in place, and also you see here there's a little stop that keeps the bolt from going back over the string and helps prevent misfires. The main trigger is basically this bar. It's made out of PVC pipe, and this acts as both a spring and a lever. It holds itself up, but it's also light enough where the string can actually push it down thing. So I've also put a safety on here. It's just a really simple little bar. This is also made out of PVC. It slides up and goes right underneath the trigger. This is a 100-pound 1-inch PVC pipe prod. Up here I have my stirrup made out of PVC pipe. Makes stringing the bow, unstringing the bow, and shooting a lot more fun. And then I've got the bow wrapped on here, or the prod wrapped on with paracord. So now I'm going to show you guys how to span this bow. It's really simple. All you do is you place the stirrup on the ground, put your foot in the stirrup, grab the string, pull it back, and there it is. It's a good idea to always put the safety on first. You just take your bolt, put it under the clip here, and it stops it right before you get to the string. When you're ready to shoot, you just move the safety out of the way, take aim, there we go. Here we are at 20 yards. "35 yards from the target." Here's a basic list of materials and supplies. I'll go over each thing in detail and also offer suggestions too. What we're going to do now is just kind of lay out our basic template. First you want to mark in 6 inches from the end. You're also going to be making a 6-inch mark at the bottom here, and we're going to be using that to taper the rest of the stock. Next you want to go 16 inches from the front. You want to mark this line half an inch down and then out at a roughly 45-degree angle. And also you want to mark, I've just drawn a circle here. Basically you want to drill a half an inch hole here, but you want to make sure that the edge of the hole lines up with this edge here. Now when you're drilling your holes in the stock you can use whatever you want. I'm using spade bits. Actually drill into the piece until the very point of the spade bit pokes out the other side, and then drill from the other side. Here's what the stock looks like when everything's cut out. This is fairly simple, and this will take a little bit of doing. And I take the tip of my file and I try to line it up as best I can, and I use it kind of like a chisel. I'm just trying to follow this line and make a groove. You can get a scrap block of wood, as long as it has 90-degree corners, and use it as a sanding block. Just to round out this groove. Alright, here's the finished stock. So I went ahead and sanded everything smooth. So now I'm going to apply a wood stain. Now normally I use leather stain or leather dye, or shoe polish, depending. I've gone ahead and finished up the stock. I finished staining it and I sealed it with 3 coats of shellac. To build all of our extra pieces, like, you're going to need a 1/2 inch pipe. Honestly, I'm using 1/2 inch furniture grade PVC. What you're going to need to do is cut your pipe into 4 pieces. The first piece is going to be 14 inches long. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 6 inches long. Your final piece is going to be 23 inches long. To make the trigger lever, we're going to need to flatten the pipe completely. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and heat up the pipe and flatten it in my flattening jig until it's completely flat. Now that the trigger lever is flattened, you're going to mark 1 inch from the end and then 4 inches from that. So 1 inch from the end and 5 inches from the end. That's about good. We don't want to heat this up until it puffs out. So now you just want to bend it out a little bit. Now that your trigger lever is done, we're going to attach it to the stock. Measure 7 inches from the front end of the stock, and that's where we're going to align our trigger bar. To attach it, I'm using 2-inch Phillip head screws. Now that the trigger lever is attached, we're going to work on our pin. I'm using a 1/2 inch dowel. You want to place it until it contacts the lever. You want to mark this flush with the rest of the stock. And here's the finished pin. You take it and drop it in. Now it's ready to go. And for this next part, you need one of your 6-inch pieces that's been flattened. Pick a side. Alright, so now you take this and you just bend it up at a 90-degree angle. So I've gone ahead and ground it flat and also rounded off the corners. Drilled my hole and trimmed the back. Now to place this, is right where you want it to be. Drill right there. You just swing this bar around, lift up the handle. There you go. Start off with the other 6-inch piece of PVC. Have the center section be 1/2 inch wide. We're going to cut these 2 side pieces off. Alright, I've gone ahead and cut out my piece. Now what you want to do is mark the center, because we're only going to be heating up half of this. You see how it's starting to curl up? The side that's curling in used to be the inside, and that's going to become the top now. You can do 90 or you can do a little less than 90. And you just want to pull it upward while it's cooling. So now you just want to bend it. So now that this is cooled, mark about 3/8 of an inch from the end here, and this is where we're going to drill a hole. This clip is situated right above the pin. Here's the finished bolt clip. Flattened. This is the 23-inch piece. 2 markings, 4 inches in from the end, 3 inches in from those 4-inch marks, so 3 inches away, and then 2 inches away, and that will leave you with a 5-inch center section. So now you want to bend this back. Now you take this and you bring it in. And then you just want to go ahead and twist. So you want to go on here and mark from 2 inches from this end and 3/4 inch from this end. This is pulled together as much as you can pull them together. I've gone ahead and drilled the holes. Now what you want to do is line it up with the end of the crossbow. There it is. You're going to need a piece of pipe that's 30 inches long. So this is a 30-inch long piece of 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe. You want to mark the center at 15 inches. Just bring your flattening jig to the center of the handle mark and then press it down. Once the pipe is cool, you remove the jig, and here you have a nice taper. Here's what the pipe looks like after it's been tapered. Alright, so now you just want to form these, just a little bit of a recurve. Doesn't need to be too heavy. So now you've seen it's puffed out a little bit. So we're going to flex this back. And that is about, it's about 2.5. Right, I've gone ahead and finished off the tips. To do these, all I did was I measured in 1/2 inch from either side, and that gives, I'm cutting my nocks about 1/2 inch from the end, and I want them to be about 1/4 inch or so deep. So cut these on this side just so you can see what they look like. From here, I'm going to go with sandpaper, round them off. You want to make sure that there are no sharp edges here. I've gone ahead and rounded out the nocks. So now the prod is finished and ready to go. And just overlap it like that. And you want to wrap tightly, but just wrap all the way down to the end. There it is. You want to start by taking this and bringing it through this hole. And just hold on to it. And you take this, you bring it up, over, and then across. So you can see I brought it up and across the front. You see right across the front. I'm going to bring this back over the front and then into the hole. And then that's the basic wrap. This is plenty strong and will hold this prod in place. Now that you've done that, what you want to do is go from the side here, take your cord, and then pass it all the way under. Now you want to pull as tight as you can. This is what it looks like when you've wrapped down to the end. Once you get down to here, just pass the cord through the hole here and pull it down and then stick it into the hole. I'll take this end, bring it through, and now I'm just sort of going to loop it around and around just like I did that other piece. And then you just stuff the loose end into this hole here. If you need to get it out, you just kind of pull this end. Your wrap is all done. So you want to take one end of your paracord and you want about, let's say, a 5 to 6 inch loop. And then tie an overhand knot. You just bring it over, around, and then through. And then that should slide over the tip of the limb here. So now, you want to put it into the knock, and then bring the string over to the other knock. Stretch it a little bit, and then right where this is, right where the other knock is, you want to reach back and then tie another loop. There it is. So now we're ready to string this bow up for the first time. This is a 1/2 inch diamond braid rope, very soft. And that will give you about a 6-inch finished loop. Is slip that over one recurve, bring it back around over the butt of the stock and over to the other side here. You can see what we've done. This is going to be used to string your bow. Slip it over the recurve again, make sure they're both out at the recurves, and then with your foot in the stirrup, draw back and up, set it onto the back of the stock, and still too short. But you get the idea. So I'm just going to keep tying knots until the string is the proper length. Alright, there we go. So you finally get this loop onto the, let the cord down. There we go. Put your foot in the stirrup and draw the bow back. So I'm going to be using some Dacron. This is a polyester material, and this is measure out my strands. So first you want to take your existing string and just measure from loop to loop like this. Now you want to add to that measurement 4 thumbs up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you take this measurement and you want to pull out the number of strands you need for this string. Now this string I'm going for 26 strands. So that's 13 strands per bundle. So now that you have your 2 strands, you want to go ahead and hold it from the end. And that's how long your loop needs to be. So I'm twisting counterclockwise. I keep twisting and twisting and twisting until this wants to start wrapping over itself. And you grab both strings, both strands, stretch them out as much as you can, hold them tight, and then together you want to twist them. So twist them together. And soon the twist that you put in here will take over and the strand will come together. Now you can see that. Splice ends. You can see right in there. Now you need your other string. You're going to match up your loops. And then you want to go down to the other end and figure out where the other loop starts. So you go up here to where the loop starts on the paracord string, and you want to match it. So you're going to start there. Twist toward yourself. When you twist the bundle, you twist away. Here's the finished string. I've gone ahead and put the new string on the crossbow. And it's pretty much perfect. The brace height is right about where I want it to be. Maybe a little higher than I want. But this string will stretch out just a little bit. And I'm just going to go all the way until I reach the other end. There's the served string. Now that you've finished your crossbow, it's time to build the bolts for it. I'm starting with a 3/8 inch poplar dowel. I've cut this to 16 inches long. I like to have it to be at least as long as the draw, if not a little longer. Alright, I've gone ahead and I've tapered it. And I also went and sanded this back area just so I have a nice smooth transition. So you can see this is where the growth ring lays flat. So going from this side, I'm going to take a 1/2 round file and just file right across from the end. You can see those little lines. We want to run across those. That's where the strength is going to come from. Now that that's done, I just go ahead and take my file and round off the back end a little bit. You're going to need some sort of fletching jig or fletching clamp. This is a simple one, just made out of a piece of PVC pipe that's been flattened. And then I cut one edge off and sanded it flat, so you can see it opens a little bit. So you take your jig, you take your feather, slip your feather in. Oops. And I've got a little marking here so I know how far in to put it, because I'm going to line this up with the back of my bolt down. I'm using fletching tape, so I'm going to go ahead and apply the tape. Glue, you just want to hold it for about 30 seconds until it sets, and then you just slide the clamp off. Here's our bolt all fletched up. Press the point on. Your bolt is ready to fly. So here's the finished crossbow. Here's some bolts. Here we are at 10 yards. So here it is. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the build along and the shooting video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.